I'm Leela Singh, your podcast host, and I'd like to welcome you to the My Brand HQ podcast, all things personal branding for career acceleration. This podcast is for talented, ambitious career professionals like you who are wanting to be perceived as a thought leader, to be top of mind to those that matter, and to make an impact and stand out, be that in your team, your organization, or your industry, and to be inspired by other successful leaders. I will be interviewing high-achieving career professionals who have carved out a successful career in their field and are open to sharing their career journey, their challenges, their learnings and insights with you, someone who is looking to establish your personal brand and accelerate your career. Through my personal branding and coaching practice, I enable career professionals primarily in the technology industry to earn more money, to increase their salary. In fact, I spoke to all of my past clients that I've worked with over several years and learned that actually overall, they've received an average of 47% increase in their package. Would that be a great place to be? They've also all achieved at least one, if not more, promotions or moved on to a higher level in their career at another organization. And they're looking to advance their career while showing up as the best version of themselves. If this sounds like you, then do reach out to me and let's have a chat. And why do I do this? Well, during my corporate career spanning 25 years, I quickly realized that hard work alone was not enough to get me to where I wanted to be and the success that I strive for. And my belief is that hard work, coupled with creating and establishing a strong personal brand, can both influence and accelerate your career and get you to where you want to be. In today's episode, I am speaking with Chirag Pawar. Chirag is a client general manager at HP Inc. He leads global virtual account sales teams and manages the business between HP Inc. and global strategic clients and partners. He is a strong business development professional with a master's degree focused in international business from Groupe Ecole supérieure de Commerce de Dijon-Bourgogne. In today's episode, Chirag shares why adaptability is key, both in a global role and when working in different countries. How creating successful partnerships with clients and partners begins with listen, understand, problem solve. The steps to building one global team and instilling trust. Why your network is critical to overcoming challenges, and how success requires you to own your career, adopt an entrepreneur mindset, and have a mentor. So let's head over and hear what Chirag has to say. Hi there, and welcome to My Brand HQ. It's great to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today. And so I wanted to just kick off with, if you could share with me and the audience, just tell us a little bit about having worked in the same company but in different countries. How was that for you in terms of adapting to the culture shift there?
Oh, great question. It's quite funny that, I work for the same company, but at the same time, I felt that I'm working for the 4 different companies. It's so the reason I say that because when you start living in a different country with a different culture, so of course, you notice a difference. And the first thing you start have the feeling is to become an adaptive. Mm-hmm. So when I started with HP France, a simple thing, right? Everyone will say, hey, bonjour, bonsoir, whether you know them or not. So that's a great thing. It feels very welcoming. After that, when I went to HP Germany, there was a bit of a different. For example, of course, they will also greet you in the morning and the afternoon, but there has to be a typical Friday stuff as well going on. So that was a bit of a different from me. But again, between France and Germany, you are juggling between 2 different languages, between 2 different culture. So especially when you're in HP, yes, almost everyone will speak English. But as soon as you step out of that working culture zone, you're in the real world. So then that's where you feel that, no, you're in a different country, in a different company as well. So that's a great thing, because when you move, you relocate, you start learning, adapting, and the best thing is that you make all the culture inclusive as well. So for me, like, I never get bored. Even being, spent almost now 13 years in HP, you never feel bored. After that, I was in HP Scotland, again, a wonderful experience in HP Scotland, and then now, HP London. So given that my role is global, but this is just something that sometimes, like, if you travel as a tourist is a one thing, but when you start living in that country and then start adapting to it is a very different thing. So yeah, so one thing what I learned was and this is one of the great saying, my parents used to say that be like a water, be adaptive. So that always kept me going. So no matter if I'm struggling with the French language, but yes, I was always eager to learn. The same in Germany as well. So that adaptiveness kept me going in the four different. And today I feel very proud, and today I also feel very lucky that I got privilege to explore and to learn. So today, if you ask me, hey, do you want to relocate in some other country, good opportunity, I will not hesitate. Within a minute, I will pack a bag and I will leave.
Yeah, amazing. And I love the fact what you talked about being adaptable, because I think that in itself is a huge lesson for anyone in life, right? Because people don't like change, generally speaking. They try to avoid it, and we recognize change is constant. It's part of everyday life. So having that ability to adapt in the way that you've just described there is really, really important, particularly from a career point of view. If you're looking to, advance your career up the ladder and you want to have that exposure.
Correct. And having that adaptiveness and having that eagerness to learn, it also makes you easy to communicate. And what I mean with that is that, look, in today's world, every other your colleague or every other leader will be someone from different countries, different culture. But as soon as imagine if I'm meeting with a French colleague, and if I'm having a little bit of mingling going on in the French language, that creates a so ease of comfort. Same thing, if someone says to me in my mother language, hey, how are you, that creates another level of comfort zone. So it also makes you easy in communication, ease of comfort, and that helps so definitely, adaptiveness is a one thing which I will say that don't complain about the country or just adapt that culture.
Yeah, learn to adapt and to embrace what you have in front of you. And so just out of interest then, did you learn the languages as you were there? So once you moved there, you had to start learning the language, or did you, were you already?
So here is a funny thing. When I moved to France to do my master's, at that time, everything was in English. The courses were in English and everything. So I only knew bonjour and that's it. And I was like, yeah, everything is in English. Then after that, completed my master, started working for HP. Slowly, outside HP, it's a real world.
Yeah.
So then what happened with that is that I actually started learning. And the good thing where I was in Dijon, and after that, Grenoble, let's say 80% outside on the high street will prefer to speak French. And it's a good thing for me, because whatever I used to ask them in English, they will respond me in French, and that made me learning. if they would have responded in English, then I would have not learned that quickly. But this is something that thanks to the Grenoble and Dijon, that I was able to learn French quite quickly. But I can say still, I know 50% of it. At least I can survive, I can communicate, I can understand. But that's a great thing that I can proudly say that I learned different language.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And Germany was the same?
Germany was the same, but I will say that I spent less time in Germany. Like in France, almost it was 3 to 4 years. In Germany, it was around about 18 months. So I can say 20% of German. Yes, I can meet and greet, and I can share some funny jokes. But when I went to Scotland, oh no, my God, I changed my slangs. So yes, I learned quite funny Scottish slangs, which I'm proud of. So whenever I meet my Scottish colleagues, they will say, "Hey, Chirag, please share that joke." So I try to pronounce few things in Glasgowian accent if I get a chance. So yeah, again, I mean, believe me or not, I didn't knew when I until I hit Glasgow, that when someone's asking you what you up to, is like what you up to.
Right.
Do you watch a football? They will say, hey, do you watch a football? And I'm like, okay. So again, these are the things that local versus international, that at one point you're on the platform for international, but then when you touch the local, you start again learning those stuff. So that definitely benefited. And I will say, benefit of traveling and working in different countries with the same company, on the top line is the same company culture. At the bottom, you are in the local country culture. So there is a comfort zone that, okay, you're going to work for the company where the culture, which is great culture, but at the same time, at the bottom, you're in the country culture as well. So that makes you a little bit, how you say, little bit more interactive. And also, by default, without taking any classes, you add the skills to your self-development.
Yeah. So you kind of just automatically, by being in that situation and adapting, you naturally will grow and thrive, because you kind of have to
Yes.
make it.
Correct. And I learned quite a lot. I mean, every country had a unique experience. Every culture has a unique experience. Had quite a lot of good fun, sightseeing, and made a very good friends as well.
Fantastic. That's amazing. And you mentioned about having a global role. So tell me, what strategies have you adopted in dealing with global clients, global colleagues? And just adding on to what you've just talked about there. So building their rapport by speaking their language. What else have you done there to be able to adopt?
So see, this working in different countries definitely gives you a liberty to become more smarter in this global role, because you're already coming from the mindset of adaptiveness. The way I will describe that in my global role, how it became, or how did I use my learnings, is I will differentiate. Is one is the global clients and the partners, and the second is your colleagues, right? So your global clients and partners, they are sitting in a different time zone, different country. They also need the local touch, apart from you only being there. So for that, the way I see is that I always say that, hey, start building a bridge. So the way you start building a bridge is that, say, for example, you have your global client and a partner in India and in Singapore. Then start making sure that you got a good colleague and a team based within India and as well as in Singapore, and try to bridge them as well. Help to bridge that culture gap, because they feel that they're speaking with me, but at the same time, they have someone at a local as well who are there to support. So that's a one thing. B, I start learning from my own colleagues first within that what are the challenges are going to be within that particular market? What are the success stories are there within that particular market, and particular that countries as well? And then, hey, then start listening to your global clients, understand your global partners as well, and then work in a partnership with your colleagues and with your partners. And if you apply these simple strategies, understanding, doing some homework, understanding the local market, understanding the local culture, understanding the local success stories as well, and then implementation, it works.
Fantastic. I like that. And you talk about, so really it's doing some due diligence, isn't it? It's to really understand the local markets, the local cultures, and how you can then integrate both you and your team into that to have a successful relationship. And then tell me, but by doing so, what do you do to build that circle of trust around you? So when you're reaching out to people in the local countries, within HP in this case, what is it you're doing there? Because in a lot of cases, they're remote to you.
Fixing the problem, listen to them, understand. So that's the listening is the first thing I will say, that, understand the challenges, understand what you can do and what you cannot do, and make sure that you are listening to them, make sure that you understand the local challenges as well, and then create your plan in a partnership with your local colleagues and then implement it. So it's not a rocket science, simple. Understand the local culture, understand the need, and listen to them and work on a plan to fix it.
Simple, right?
It's simple. I mean, as I say, it's not rocket science, right? Because see, at the end of the day, the fundamentals are same. The only thing is that how you are going to put those brackets into the problem solving line. So that's what I will always say, that as far as you keep your fundamentals same, make sure that you know how to put those brackets in line to solve the problem. But having you said that creating the trust when your colleagues are sitting in a different country is actually, I always learn that listen to them, and take your colleague with you, make them equally accountable in your journey, make them believe that we are partners. So that's the one thing that I will always say, that create that partnership with your colleagues, that hey, together we have to build this, we have to solve this, and together we have to create a success. And that always have been work. So as I will always, the best experience I will share is that try to create a valuable partnership with your colleagues. And and once you create the partnership, I can tell you, Leila, that even if you ring them at a very short notice, they will be immediately focused on your needs very quickly, because you have created that partnership, you have invested that in the partnership with your local colleagues, with your local markets. Mm-hmm. So that's something. And when that partnership is there, then there is no question of the trust, because you made them accountable in the success journey. They are the part, and you are the part together of each other's journey.
And for me, that's a really important point, because it's something I learned during my career, that's as I did that, it made such a huge difference. It's almost like if you talk about making them a partner, but make them accountable. I think that's a big part of it, because oftentimes what I see is that, if you've got a team in another country and you just ask them to do their job and do this activity, and that's it, and they have no clue how they fit in to the big picture of your kind of your strategies, your goals, the business's longer term vision. So they don't feel almost empowered, let's say. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? It's just a little task they're given. And I think to your point, by creating that partnership, creating that trust with them, but also making them accountable, you build that trust. And when it is a case of you need to pick up the phone and you need a favor done, or you need something turned around really quickly, they will do that for you, because you've got that relationship there and that's established. And that's something I witnessed a lot. And, in my case, I can be very chatty and friendly, how's your weekend and all of that. But when it comes to getting the work done, the work will get done.
Correct. Exactly. So, and that was an easy thing to say, that, once you create that partnership, you bridge that gap. And even if they phone you at a short notice, you will also prioritize that, hey, come on, there is a partnership in a place. The other thing which always also try to make it a best practice is it's always a we. Make sure that when you're dealing with your colleagues in a different markets or different countries, make sure that there is a we culture. There is not an I culture. That together we success. These are the simple things, but it really matters a lot. And when you are celebrating a success, make sure that every partner is recognized as a we.
Yes,
because it's important that when there's a success, the partnership of every other market should be highlighted as well. So that inclusiveness of a we culture has really played a big role in creating all the local partnerships. And then once you have that, then it's easy. So then you have that all the fundamentals ready. Partnership is on the top of it, and now you're in a motion to run your governance.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice there. And I think, it sounds simple, but it's actually very, very powerful.
It is.
It makes such a huge difference. And so tell me then, when it comes to within the organization, how do you set the right expectations with people and create an impact in the organization? So whether it's for yourself or for the wider team, what are some of the things that you can do?
So setting expectation is a big thing. So the way I work, let's take an example that there is a global partner, and we have to work with X partner. How you going to set up the expectation? There are some goals, there are some visions, but then the way I set up the expectation is making sure that my whole virtual team is aligned to it, that I'm not overstepping it. First of all, that I will carefully understand that whether this can be fulfilled or it cannot be fulfilled. That if I'm sharing any expectation, the funny thing is that I also work with them that they should also set an expectation with me as well. So it's a reverse way, that rather than me setting an expectation, I want them also to set up an expectation with me. And then when you exchange that each other's expectations, you come to the conclusion where you all are aligned. And this is something that, just don't go and say that, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, that's not the way. I think, share that what are your expectations, and also at the same time, take from your colleagues as well that what are their expectations from you as well. And once you exchange either expectation, I can guarantee you that you are always in a win-win situation. So yeah, so to answer your question, the way I set the expectation is in a joint teamwork.
Yeah, I like that, as opposed to it just coming down from above to say, this is what I want to do, this is what we're going to do. It's actually having a two-way conversation, right?
Correct.
And so then, go on, sorry.
No, and there are always an expectations and goals, right, in everybody's job, right? But when you work that expectations in partnership, we all feel that we hear to each other. Okay, there is a big expectation, but we can do together. So that feeling is created. So when you exchange that expectation, if you don't exchange, then it's like someone is imposing on you.
Yeah. And it's such a big distinction between the two.
Correct.
Particularly for a team. And so when it comes to things like problem solving, and you mentioned earlier about understanding challenging situations, how or what part has networking and your connections played for you when it comes to that, to helping to work through that?
So see, being that networking it always plays a big role, especially if for example, if I was in France or I was in Germany, I was in Scotland, ex-colleague is now working in a different country, or ex-colleague is working in a different position or different organization. If you know each other, of course, in that, if your colleagues know each other, there is a strong networking. They know exactly what your expectations are. It makes easy as well to share your expectation. It becomes easy as well to get result-oriented answers as well. So networking is like, if say for example, like if you and I know each other, then you know exactly how I operate, and I know exactly how you operate. So that operativeness becomes much more easier, and you work towards a goal. So I always say that networking is always key. Inside, outside, it works. In terms of problem solving, the one thing I will always say that, listen to your global clients and partners. First of thing, that listen to them, listen to their problems, and always fix their problem, or at least try to fix their problems if you can fix the problem. That's the one thing I will always say. By listening. B, you can always solve the problem if you understand their culture, because somehow every other organization and every other company, a global client or partner, they have different culture. Understand their culture, understand their company values, understand the goals, understand the vision. Once you understand their goals, their visions, and their strategy, then try to align your strategy and your vision to help your global client and partner to be the part of their success journey, to be the part of their vision. And first thing, again, make sure that you're understanding. So you have to do their homework. And this is a basic thing that, do an homework, that invest some time on your global clients and partners. Make some background studies as well, and definitely, listen to their problems.
Yeah.
Because there is a reason that why they're sharing with you, because they believe that you can help them and you can help to fix them. So always, and I can tell you, if you fix the problem, your relationship will be great, because they count on you. They count on the partners who stands with them and who fixes the problem. So it's and I always say, it's easy to sign the deal. But make sure that when there are the problems, they can count on you.
Yeah, most importantly. Yeah, totally. And there's a theme here as well, I've noticed, because we're talking about both internally and externally, and the theme that's coming through for me and what you're saying here is about listening, it's about understanding, it's about the communication, it's about building that connection with people. So very people centric. And if we move on a little bit to more from a point of view of career now, tell me, what would you say the potential missed opportunities of not letting people know what you want in the workplace? And now talking about a career, what are the potential missed opportunities, would you say?
Missed opportunities? I will not say the missed opportunities. I mean, it's I always see that there is always an opportunity.
But if you're not speaking up, so what are the potential missed opportunities for somebody by not letting people know what they want? So for example, that they want a promotion, or they want to learn about X, Y, and Z. What could they potentially miss out on?
So if I understand the question correctly, that what I will like to give an advice to the people on the, if they don't want to miss out the opportunities, I will say that start making sure that you have your own plan. So I have seen that in many times that, X person or Y colleague wants to do this and that, but if he or she doesn't know what they want to do within 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, then surely they're not serious of their career. So start investing in yourself, and you should know the best at what you want to do next 2, 3, and 5 years. Create that your own success plan, and then work on the implementation. Don't start working on the implementation if you're not even created your own success plan. So that's the advice I would like to give, that create your own success plan and then start working on implementation, not before that.
Yeah. Okay. And so if we look at something like an individual development plan that you're referring to there, how important is it for someone to own that and be responsible for it? And the reason I ask you the question is because I've heard time and time again that people saying, well, it's up to my employer, rather than taking the responsibility themselves.
No, it's up to you. It's up to you. I mean, employer always give you plenty of platforms. There are plenty of tools, there are plenty of resources, everything is available, but it's up to you. That, I always say that, think yourself that you're an entrepreneur. Have that mindset that, if you want to build your career, think that you're an entrepreneur. It is in your hand. It is in your hand how to shape your career. Don't throw on the employers, or don't throw on the managers or the leaders. They are there to mentor you. They are there to guide you and share their experience. And as I said, mostly every company provides great tools and great resources. But what if you don't utilize them? It's on you how to utilize them. So when you have that mindset of entrepreneurship in whatever job you are going, that you want to have the success, you know exactly what you want to do in year 2, year 3, year 5, and work on implementation. If you don't own your career, then don't blame anyone else. It's in your hand. 100%, it's in your hand.
Thank you. I love that. Love that. And so what about actually letting people know what it is you want? So once you've created that plan, what's the best approach? Because there's a school of thought, and I was this person many, many years ago, where I thought that by just working really hard, people would recognize how good I was and I'd get promoted. But what I then quickly learned was that is not the case. You've got to, speak to people. You've got to let people know what it is you want. So what's your view on that?
So once you got your plan ready for your career, once you know what you want to do, I will definitely say that try to have a mentor. Share that with your own mentor as well, and always be honest with your mentor in sharing your success plan, because it's like you have created that plan because you believe that this is how it will work out, but your mentor will see from a different eyesight and might advise you that, hey, by the way, you also have XY skills. By the way, to reach to this goal, you may want to try out in these XYZ organizations. So this is something that I will always recommend, that try to take advice on your success plan from other experienced colleague, or have a mentor, because it's important to take advice from a different colleague, or a different mentor, and sometimes doing that, they might also help you to highlight what are your weaknesses are. So sometimes quite a lot of your strengths, but you don't know of your weakness. So your mentor might highlight that weakness as well, that, hey, this is that you have to fulfill this. So always share that. The second thing, I will always advise that whenever you want to take another job, always make sure that by taking this X job you're promoted, does that match to your 5 years vision? Do you think that by taking this job that you will be able to score your next 4 or 5 years of a job? Then go for it. But this is exactly, you might be feeling that you're promoted, but then after year 5, oh, I'm not able to do that, then is that was the right move? So always when you make a next move, think one more move ahead. That was I will say that. So your next move should be your a step above future move.
Great advice there, definitely. And I completely agree. And I like what you say there about, having a mentor, speaking to other experienced people in your team, in your organization, to get some feedback. One of the things I talk about with personal branding is that it's others' perceptions of you. So we all have our perception of how we show up, of how we come across to people. But really, when it comes to your career or being in the workplace, if you want to advance your career, it's going to be about how other people perceive you. So you want to align those two, which means having those conversations, eliciting that feedback, and then seeing where there are gaps, because your mentor might say, these are your top key 3 sort of strengths, or what you bring, the value that you bring. And you might be feeling, well, actually, there's something that I think is one of my biggest selling points, and he or she's not acknowledged that. Where's the gap there? Why do I think that it's obvious, and why is it people aren't seeing that? And what do I need to do differently so that the next time I have that conversation, my mentor can recognize that and share, so it's understanding those gaps, but it's also getting that feedback from people so you can understand how you're being perceived, what your reputation is ultimately, what people are saying about you, so that what do I need to adjust, shift, position, or speak up more about, so that I can position myself well for my next role.
Correct. And the one advice I will also, I received this advice from my very first mentor. The 2 things he told me, venture outside your comfort zone. Keep punching outside your comfort zone. And the second thing that Chirag, there will be always a perception. The question is how you digest that. So there will be always a perception, that is for their in whole life, within your own professional circle, your own personal circle. There will be a perception, but make sure that that perception, because sometimes what happens is when there's too much of perception created, few or many, sometimes it happens that they always feel that, oh, why I'm not doing this right, or why I'm not, or why. But don't get diluted into that. Let the people have their perception. You keep focus on your goals. You keep going. People will always, they're always going to share perception. They will never change. But what should is that you learn from the perception. Don't allow that perception to affect you on your goals. You keep going.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
Very, very important. I agree.
Yeah.
And that's really good advice. And so tell me then, what's the best advice that you've received that's had the biggest impact on your career?
It's a bit a tricky one. See, when people talking about you quite a lot, I mean, again, that is from my mentor only, that they're quite talking about you quite a lot, in a good way, in a sarcastic way, or whatever it is, that, or maybe it's in a negative way. It means that you're on a path of success. So when people are talking, so same, I will repeat the same advice that which just I shared, related to the perception, that let the perception go, whatever it is. Make sure that you adapt to those perception. B, you digest them, but you don't allow them to impact on your goals. So keep going, and I will repeat the same thing, that the biggest impact in my career, the best advice was that punch outside your comfort zone. Try to do something out of the box. Anything, whatever you do, in your professional life, try to be creative. Just don't be a follower. That was advice, that just don't follow. Make sure that you create a benchmark, and you create some kind of an innovation. So that's all. And I think hitting outside your comfort zone, that actually helps you to come out of your weakness zone.
Yeah, I'm just making some notes here, and I love what you just said there, about creating your own benchmark, not being a follower. Don't be a follower. You go back to what you said earlier about being an entrepreneur, having an entrepreneur mindset. Even as somebody who's employed in an organization, you can do that, and outside your comfort zone, which is something I talk about a lot, simply because I recognized by taking those risks, trying new things, it's right. You recognize what you're really capable of. You create possibilities for yourself, which you otherwise wouldn't, you'd miss out on.
Yeah, and the reason I said about that earlier about entrepreneurship, whether you're working for a company as well, it's important, that mindset, because if I'm in charge of a global clients and partners, then you have to run it. That is it your own company. You have to have that mindset. Then only you will be able to provide the best service. You will be able to create the trust internally, externally, and together you will have that result. Don't just depend that company will do that. No, own it. Own it, your responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell me then, just to finish off, from your experience, your knowledge, what would you say is the future of technology?
Anything you try to do, anywhere in your personal stuff, you're connected with mobile, with social media. In your professional, you're connected with your all the gadgets or your tools, or even wherever you're traveling, you are connected with the technology. Hospitality, you're connected with technology. Medical, you're with technology. Anything you try to do, it starts with a technology, to be honest. yes, there is always a saying that, that too much technology is there, but then we are living in that world, and technology provides ease and the service. Quite funny that I had my first laptop when I was around about 19 years old. My niece and nephew, 3 and 4, they know how to play how to play with the phones and with the laptops. And to be honest, from now they have this. Imagine in pandemic, who have thought that your schools will be running on over the phone calls, on the Zoom meetings? For us, Zoom, Teams got introduced, we were excited, or the Skype for business calls, we were excited. That also, when we were working in the for a long time in this industry, the little ones, they know about Zoom calls. Hey, Papa, are you on Zoom call? Yes, me too. So it's like, they're having Zoom calls, they're having team calls. So that's why I see that, that technology is universe for me.
Yeah,
I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely does. And I think, it's been emphasized even more over the last 18 months with the pandemic, because we've had to turn to, even as you've just given examples, even more technology just to keep going, to stay in contact with people, to connect. As you said, whether it was healthcare, it was hospitality, everything you think about is touched in some way by technology. So it is the absolute future. It's exciting, and you just don't know what is possible now. I look back to your example there of children using tech at such a young age. For me, the mobile phone, I think I was about 24, 25. So I went through university and everything, no phone. And you look at the kids now and they're all like, in touch with their parents, or if they're at uni, you can phone it. It's just like day to day, it's just accepted, it's normal. Whereas 20 years, 30 years ago, that was not the case at all. And
No.
so much has changed. Again, like you, my first computer PC was, I think, after I graduated. So early 20s is when I first purchased a PC.
Right.
Now I see my friends' kids, like little kids with their laptops working away. And it's just, oh my goodness, that the world has completely changed. And a lot of that is through technology, sort of impacting everyone everywhere.
It is. And also, if you see that the way the foundation is also there, as exactly you say that at X generation, in our generation, when we are going to the schools or unis or technology got connected in our generation at uni level, at universities level. At the kids level, is from kindergarten. It's connected from the kindergarten. So there's a big shift on that as well. So imagine that they are used to it from now on the technology gadget. So this is where I said that that generations has changed, and we are evolving with technology.
Yeah, totally. We are evolving with technology. Yeah, it's technology's ahead of us, right?
It is. It is.
So on that note, I think it's a nice note to finish on, Chirag. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for taking time out to chat with me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do subscribe to the show so you don't miss any future episodes. And remember to leave a review telling us about your key learnings and what you enjoyed the most. And do share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can spread the word on the importance of personal branding when it comes to your career advancement. And also ensure that others can benefit from these invaluable insights from many inspirational leaders. I will be eternally grateful. And if you are looking to earn more money, to get promoted, to secure your next role and advance your career, and would like me to support you personally on that journey to get you there, then reach out to me and let's arrange a chat. Alternatively, why don't you check out my personal branding launchpad, a group training and mentoring program. Finally, if you'd like to connect with me directly, then do reach out and direct message me on LinkedIn. You can find the link as well as any other resources mentioned in the show notes. I'll see you next time.